we're talking about miracles. Today is D.I.Y. miracle, do-it-yourself miracles. So I want to remind you that I've been using the definition of Eric and Rand from their shortcut to a miracle. And they say a miracle is a series of natural events occurring in the right sequence and at the right time to produce wonderful results. So, they also talk about the law of co-creation. And they say, which is what we teach here, it's no big shakes, but I'm going to reiterate, it's the consciousness manifest. So what you think is what you get. And the dominant thought prevails. So what you think most about is what comes to you and comes into your life. So the first thing that I want to talk about when we talk about do-it-yourself miracles is just to get clear that you are the miracle. You're the miracle. And the chances of you showing up in this world are estimated to be 1 in 400 trillion. 1 in 400 trillion. The Buddhists have an explanation of that. That if you take all of the ocean in the world, and you put a life preserver out there somewhere, and there's one turtle floating around and swimming around in all of those oceans, and the turtle, at the first try, sticks its head through that life preserver. That's the odds of your existing in the essence of who you are, your personality, your characteristics. So there's a guy whose name is Ali. I'm going to try to tell you what his name is. Bazarazi. I don't know. And he's done some calculations, and he says that the probability of you being born and all of the calculations of it, based on the number of people that one woman may date in a lifetime, based on the number of spermatozoa, based on the number of ovums, and based on the number of possible mates that the mother may have, based on the number of potential mates that could have come across the father's awareness, based on their grandparents, all of that configuration, based on the great-grandparents, all of that configuration, based on that kind of configuration, possibilities, probabilities, back to only the beginning of humanity, the potential and the probability of you showing up here at this place and this time are 1 in 10 million to 10 to the 6 millionth probability. There are not even enough zeros in the world to calculate that. And he says that if you take all of the people in San Diego and you give them a die with 1 trillion sides, and they each throw the die and get the same number, that is equivalent to the probability of you showing up in this world. So when I say to you that you're a miracle, You know that to be true. Because the probability of you showing up are unimaginable, unconceivable. So, you are a miracle. It's up to you now to go forth and be happy. And that's the whole issue, isn't it? That because our thoughts are creative, if we want to do it ourselves, to have miracles in our lives, to live that miraculous life that we were created to live, it's up to us to be clear about what we think. So what I really am going to talk about today is about the skills and strategies for creating a happy life for yourself. Because the probability of being happy in this lifetime is way, way higher than the probability of you being born. But before I do that, I want to just tell you a little miracle that I heard about because it moved me. I want to share it. A mother, and this was in Woman's Day, I think, a long time ago, and I don't know when it was, but a mother became pregnant, and she had a 3-year-old son named Michael. Her name was Karen, and when Karen figured out and learned that she was pregnant, she did what mothers who are preparing siblings for the arrival of another sibling. She talked to Michael about it, and what he decided to do was to sing to her belly. So the pregnancy progressed naturally and normally, and Michael, on a regular basis, would lay next to the mama with his head on her tummy, and sing. Come to find out, it was going to be a little sister. So on a regular basis, Michael sang to his little sister in vitro. And the pregnancy progressed, and the little sister arrived. Everything seemed totally normal. And then, suddenly, something went bad. Something went wrong. And the little sister, the baby, was in jeopardy. It stayed in intensive care, the ICU, for days, a week. And throughout this time, Michael kept saying, I want to sing to my little sister. Why can't I sing to my little sister? And of course, 3-year-old children are not allowed in ICU. But things got worse and worse. And Mother Karen thought, this is so important to him. If this child doesn't make it, and in fact, they were shopping for burial sites and making arrangements because no one expected the baby to live. So Karen thought, if Michael doesn't get to sing to his little sister, he never will. So she determined that she was going to take Michael to ICU, and he was going to sing to the little baby no matter what. So she dressed him up in scrubs, and he looked like a laundry basket with all of this extra fabric. So she took him into ICU, and this Nurse Kravitz, Said, hey, what are you doing? You can't have a kid in here. Get him out of here. And Karen said, no, he's going to sing to his little sister. And so he did. Gotta get my tissue. I almost made it. Look. Michael started singing. You are the sunshine of my life. You make me happy when skies are gray. In his little 3-year-old voice. And the little sister took a deep breath and began to relax. And the monitors started to calm down. You are the sunshine of my life. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. And the baby was calm. Please don't take my sunshine away. And the nurse Kravitz said, keep singing, Michael. You are the sunshine of my life. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know how much I love you. Please don't take the sunshine away. And the baby was at peace. And the heartbeat was regular. And the breath was coming. You are the sunshine of my life. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. In his 3-year-old voice. And the next day, the baby went home. What are the odds of Michael knowing the exact right song to sing to his little sister? What are the odds of Michael and that baby being born to a mother who knows how important in vitro stimulation is? What are the odds of that? 1 to the 10th power of 6 million. It has to do with our belief systems. It has to do with our belief that miracles are possible, that happiness is possible. And you know, they say, actually they do not say, a woman named Sonia, whoever her last name is, that I can't even begin to pronounce it, I'm not even going to try, who wrote The How of Happiness, a scientific approach to getting the life you want. She says that 20% or 30% of our happiness is based on our genetic predisposition to it. Whether we're happy or not really depends on our genes. 30% depends on on our life circumstances. But 40% of our happiness is within our personal control. See, I'm going to argue with her about the figures because I believe that 100% of our happiness really is based and in our control. 100%. is a choice that we make based on some strategies. Now, I remind you that miracles occur based on what you think. What you think is what you get. Miracles come to us because we believe they can. We believe that they do. Now, we have struggles with maintaining and controlling our own minds. And that's what these 12 strategies really do for us, is give us tools for managing our thinking process. It's like making room and giving us a breath of fresh air so that miracles can flow into our lives. So the number one strategy that she talks about is a little different than we teach here, but it's still the same principle, and that is to count your blessings. You know, we talk about keeping a gratitude journal, and we talk about being in gratitude and thinking and being grateful. But counting your blessings is just a little bit different, I think. Just what a blessing it is to be alive, to be the miracle that we are. What a blessing that is. Counting our blessings, and I really do believe that we have a moral obligation to be in gratitude based on the odds, the statistics, the possibilities of not being here. So the first one is count your blessings. The second one is about cultivating optimism. Cultivating optimism, because optimism is a part of the whole miracle process, expecting the best, focusing on the best. But when we cultivate optimism, how do we do that? So like keeping a gratitude journal, we can keep an optimism journal, and we can take a look at the circumstances and the situations in our lives, and we can say to ourselves, what would be the best outcome for this? What would be the best outcome? And then allow our imagination to come up with that possible outcome that would be the very best in any circumstance or any challenge or any situation that we're going through in our lives. What would be the best outcome? And writing it down. And then remembering that what you focus on is what you're creating. So in essence, by practicing this strategy of cultivating optimism, you are actually cultivating the possibility for a miracle to flow into your life in any given circumstance or situation. And the third, which is really a challenge for a lot of us, and that is to avoid overthinking and social comparison. Some of us call this perfectionism. Some of us call this, shyness. To really come to the place that you are the own authority in your life, that you really don't care what other people think. As my grandmother used to say, what makes you think that the rest of the world is paying any attention to what you're doing? So just cultivating the kind of attitude that what people think, your social consciousness, your inhibitions, what you think or other people are thinking of you has no consequence. And when you let that go, whew, how relieving that is. So that's the third strategy. The fourth is to practice kindness. We all know how important that is to our happiness. Practice kindness. Random acts of kindness. Doing small things that are loving. Then the other one, the fifth one, is nurturing relationships. Nurturing relationships. Taking a look at your life and the place that maybe there's a circumstance or a situation and a relationship that's challenged to you, and put a lot of energy and a lot of effort into healing that. And when you heal whatever relationship is difficult for you, then all of the rest of them fall together. And then a sixth is doing activities that really engage you. Being in the flow. Finding things that satisfy you and allow you to feel peaceful. To forget all of the judgments and criticisms that you may have been thinking about and dwelling on in the past. And then dwell on life's joys. Instead of going over last night's conversation that really got you going. You know those. The ones that you think you could have said this if you'd only just thought of it. Having that conversation going on in your head again, or stopping the car that bumped into you. Just practicing life's joys. Think of the moment that gives you pleasure. Today I'm thinking about my dogs and how funny they are and how joyful they were playing. And just remembering and holding that. Forgetting that their housebreaking skills are really poor. Dwelling on the joy that they bring me rather than the angst that they bring me. Committing to your goals. Determining and finding one or two powerful goals, things that you want to create in your life, and putting all of your attention and all of your energy into those. Because what you think is what you get. What you dwell on is what shows up. And so thinking of and coming to a place that you have one or two goals that really make your heart sing. Putting all of your attention on that. Forget what other people think. Forget the conversations that you had last night. Forget all of that. And put your attention on the goals that you want. And this is number 9. Developing strategies for coping. Okay, so I'm not that much of a Pollyanna. Being able to cope when things are not going well. What kind of tools and strategies are you going to have besides these 12 strategies for happiness? You need a few coping skills. Meditation, prayer, exercise, reminding yourself what is going right in your life, what is going well. Those kinds of coping strategies that are tools in your backpack that you can call on. And then learning to forgive. Letting go of the past, letting go of the anxiousness, letting go of the pain that someone has caused you in the past. And forgiving them. And then forgiving yourself for whatever it is that you have done that has caused angst and difficulty for other people. And number 11 is developing a spiritual practice. Meditation perhaps, prayer perhaps, coming to the center, developing a spiritual practice. And number 12, finally, I know you all are saying finally. Number 12 is taking care of yourself, being healthy, allowing yourself the gift of being healthy. And whatever that takes, exercise, a proper diet, good sleep, practices for happiness. All of these things, you know, we could have a whole conversation about them, a whole service about them, a whole talk about them. Sorry, Denise. Each one of these things. But the truth of the matter is that it's all a choice that we make. The do-it-yourself miracles are choices that you make on a day-to-day basis. Focusing on the good, being in joy, laughing, dancing, singing, being silly. Those are all miraculous things. So, I would encourage you this coming week to bring yourself to a place of miracles. To me, it is our spiritual obligation to be happy, to be in joy. So, I love you all. Namaste.
Namaste.
So I would invite the minister and the practitioners to encircle this room with love. I want to remind you if things are not going well and you're not able to wrap your mind around them, there is this prayer box over here, and these lovely people will hold a consciousness for you and hold you in prayer to help you create miracles. So join with me. As I just turn within and know that there is that place within me where I am connected with all potential of all universes, with all that I call the divine. In that place where I can settle and be at peace, is the place of the alchemy, of the blending of all good, the laboratory of happiness, the laboratory of miracles. And so in this place, I allow myself to be at peace, to be in grace, to be in gratitude. And while I am in this quiet center of my divine connection, I know that good and only good is flowing to me. Because the divine really, genuinely wants me to be happy and does everything possible to fulfill my thoughts, to fulfill my words. And so with joy, I allow myself to envision, to hold in that optimistic light all of the good that I can possibly imagine, knowing that it's flowing to me. And so with gratitude, I accept it. I accept abundance of relationships and love and peace. I accept dynamic good health. I accept only good into my life. And I celebrate that now. And I invite you to join with me and do the same by declaring it done for you and by saying, and so it is. Thank you. And I guess